Fit in 10 Nation, it is day 28, which means we are at the end of week 4. And I'm going to remind you, again, probably for like the 28th time, that this challenge goes by super duper fast. We are already heading into week 5. Tomorrow we're heading into week 5. That is the halfway point. The end of week 5 will be the halfway point. So, you know, if you're not doing things 100% right now, I highly suggest that you do. I know my challenge well, and those who practice it to a T do very well, okay? Those who don't generally don't do well, okay? All right, listen, September 29th, which was what are we today, the 16th? So I placed an order 17 days ago for the Isobars. This has never happened before. Normally when I place an order for the bars, they literally come in about 3 days. But there's been some sort of delay in manufacturing, so listen, I apologize. I'm going to take responsibility for it because, you know, I should have known that this could possibly happen. So in future, as soon as these ones arrive, I'm going to place another order, okay? So this never happens again. I'm going to stock up, I'm going to freeze them, and I'm never going to run into this problem again. I have been personally without Isobars, and I have like up to 3 a day. Usually I have 2 a day, but you know, sometimes it's 3. And I've been out of them for a week. That hurts tremendously. Okay, old question here that I just have not answered, so let's get right to it. How important is it for your heart rate to drop back down to its lower rate in between the intervals? Okay, not important at all. Okay, it won't happen. So I need to stress this to you. You have a lower intensity that you're working at in your cardio, and you have a higher intensity, right? The lower intensities for your warm-up and the time between intervals, and the higher intensities for when you're bringing your heart rate up, right? Okay, all you need to do is work at that lower intensity and that higher intensity for the whatever you're doing for your intervals, right? 15, 20 seconds and however many intervals that you're doing, right? So you just do the lower intensity in the beginning, in between intervals, and at the end for your cool down, and you just do the higher intensity, whatever that is, okay? So if you're on a stationary bike, whatever intensity you have it set on the bike, along with the RPM at the lower range, you just maintain that during the, in between your intervals and at the end, and whatever intensity it took to get your heart rate up to that higher level, that's the intensity you're going to use on each of the intervals. That's it. Just stick with that, okay? Don't worry about your heart rates. Your heart rates only determine the intensity levels in the beginning, okay? Your lower heart rate for your warm-up and in between the intervals, your higher heart rate for the intensity that you need for your intervals throughout the cardio session, okay? Does that make sense? Don't worry about trying to bring your heart rate down, okay? Your heart rate won't come, your heart rate will not recover, you know, it won't recover that fast unless you're like a super endurance athlete, okay? All right, yesterday I talked about BCAAs and glutamine for recovery. These are 2 excellent products that will help with recovery. Of course, I'm gonna really stress food and sleep because these are the things that will really make the difference the most. But there is definitely some merit to these supplements. In addition to that, I did mention something called Hard Muscle Builder. Okay, that's just the you know, the label, the name they gave this product. But basically, what's in there is a product called HMB. I think it stands for hydroxymethylbutyrate. It's a very good, I don't want to say natural product. It is a natural product, but that doesn't mean anything. It's a safe product, okay, to use that will help with your recovery and strength, okay? So you could use HMB, but if you want to get the most bang for your buck, I think I talked about this yesterday, if you want the most bang for your buck, use glutamine, okay? There's so many great, so many great advantages of using glutamine, okay? All right, how transferable are All right, so if you know your 10 rep max for your squat, your bench, your deadlift, and your overhead press, how transferable is that knowledge, or having that knowledge? I shouldn't say knowledge. How transferable is that strength to your other exercises? It's highly transferable, okay? Highly. Very, okay? I don't really know what else to say about that, okay? The question was, how transferable is it? It's very transferable. When you get stronger at those major movements, you're going to see that reflected in your other smaller movements, the movements that we typically do later on in the workout, okay? How do you know how to calculate the weights for your other exercises based off of your 10 rep max knowledge of your squat, your deadlift, your bench press, and overhead press? You can't really. They're separate movements. Generally, if you're stronger in those movements, then it'll give you a better idea of how much weight you could potentially use, on the other movements that we do in the workout. But again, this is why I will tell you in class the weight to grab, and then we can adjust from there, okay? We start with the first set being conservative, and then usually we try to jump up, or we try to make a good estimate based off of that first set on what we can do for the second set, right? To work towards failure. Of course, I'm not talking about our major movement of the day. I'm talking about the movements that happen later on in the workouts, right? So, yeah, you're never really going to know, okay? Even I don't know. There's exercises that I've repeated many times, but it just depends on how I feel that day and where I put that exercise in the sequence of my workout, all right? So if I put a certain exercise later on in the workout, I'm not going to be as strong, obviously, right? So, but I have an idea, and I think you guys over time will have a better idea as well. All right, shoulders and arms. Oh, I'm already at 7 minutes, eh? Okay, let me get this. I'll get to this one tomorrow. Okay, message of the day. Here are my 5 P's for success in this challenge, okay? And I'll explain what these mean. Practice, promote, patience, perseverance, and positivity, okay? So practice, you need to practice the pillars of the challenge, day in, day out. Not sort of, not kind of, okay, with your food. It's not a matter of just, eating clean or making good food choices. It's about getting those numbers, okay? Promote, you need to promote yourself. You need to fill your mind with positivity. You need to tell yourself that this is something that you are capable of doing. You need to tell yourself that you are capable of doing very well in this challenge, okay? Because you are. It doesn't require talent, it just requires, adherence and execution, okay? Patience. Be patient. You may not see the results in the beginning, but be patient and keep going and trust the process, and things will happen. And along with that, keep persevering, okay? Perseverance, the fourth P in this, you need to keep going and focus. And finally, positivity in general, not just internally with the challenge, but in other aspects of your life. Maintain a positive outlook, and this is going to flow over into other areas of your life, and of course into the challenge as well, okay? And hopefully the challenge is just in and of itself is helping you in other aspects of your life, okay? And on that note, positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, and for the love of God, for the love of humanity, for the love of the children on this earth, believe in yourself, and I'll talk to you guys all very soon. See ya.